Hello, friends. Forgot my icy cold beverage. I hope everyone is well. I totally dropped the ball on Thursday, Friday. On Thursday, it looked like I was going to be able to get on Friday, so I didn't make arrangements. And then Friday turned into a day of HE double hockey sticks for me, so I'm very sorry that I wasn't here, but we're going to do some good reading tonight. Stella might join us, though I'm not too sure. Trying to wet my whistle. I had to make a couple phone calls. So I haven't stopped gabbing for like the past hour and a half. And the boys and I went swimming today. Swimming, kayaking, and we actually did a little bit of sailing today, which was cool. My friend has a catamaran, so we went out on that. So busy day, but let's get back into our book. And when we left off, chapter 27. Where are we? Oh, we are in Spain. Okay, here we go. And I think when we left off in Spain, Adelena had just died, right? Yeah, I think that's where we had left off. Yep. So a growl comes from my left, and I lift my head to see another man in a trench coat with long brown hair. I rush to my feet as the Magadorian lifts his hand. Flash of light comes from it, and it hits me hard in the left shoulder, sending me flying backwards. The pain is instant and blinding. It runs down my arm. White hot as though electricity has hit the bone and travels through it. My left hand feels dead. With my right, I reach up and I touch the new gash on my shoulder. I lift my head and I look up hopelessly at the Magadorian. The charm, I think. Adelena told me when we traveled that I couldn't be killed unless it was in the order by the elders. This wound could be bad enough to kill me. I look up at my ankle to see if there are 6 scars instead of the 3 I've been living with for the last several months. But nothing's changed. Then how can I be killed? How can I be hurt this badly unless the charm has been broken? My eyes meet the Magadorian's, and he bursts into a heap of ash. For a crazy moment, I think the intensity of my own thoughts have killed him. But then I see that just standing behind him is the Magadorian from the cafe. The one with the book, the one I've been running from. But I don't understand. Does their selfishness run so deep that they'll kill one another to be the one to kill me? Marina, he says. I can kill you. I say it in a shaky voice, full of sorrow. The blood continues flowing from my shoulder and it runs down my arm. I look over at Adelena's body and I start to cry. I am not who you think I am, he says. I'm jogging over to me and reaching out his hand. Time is extremely short. I am of you and I am here to help. I take his hand. What choice do I have? He pulls me up and from the nave before any others arrive. He leads me down the northern hallway and to the second floor, leading towards the belfry tower. My shoulder screams in pain with each step. Who are you, I ask. 100 different questions race through my head. If he's one of us, then why did it take him so long to tell me? Why torture me into believing he was one of them? Can I even trust him? Shh, he whispers. Keep quiet. The musty hallway is silent, and as it narrows, I hear dozens of heavy footsteps hit the floor below us. Finally, we reach the oak door. It's open just a crack, and a girl's head sticks out. I gasp. Auburn hair, curious brown eyes, small features. She's older by years, but there's no mistaking that it's her. Ella? I ask. She looks 11 years old now, maybe 12. Her face, which brightens at the sight of mine, is more slender now. Ella pulls the door open so we can enter. Hi, Marina, she says in a voice that I don't recognize. The man pulls me in, shutting the door. He wedges a thick wooden door between the door and the bottom of the stair, and the three of us rush up the circular stone steps. When we get to the belfry, I take another look at Ella. All I can do is stare at her, wide-eyed and confused, no longer feeling the blood rolling down my arms, dripping from my fingertips. Marina, my name is Creighton, the man says. I'm sorry about your C-Pan. I wish I could have gotten there sooner. Adelena's dead, the older version of Ella asks. I don't understand, I say, still staring at Ella. We'll explain. Hey. I think I said Stella when I meant to say Ella because Stella is biting my arm. We'll explain it to you, I promise. There isn't much time. You're losing a lot of blood, Creighton says. You can heal people, correct? Can you heal yourself? With all the confusion and running, I hadn't considered healing myself. But when I place my palm of my right hand over my gaping wound, I try it. The iciness trickles out of the gash and closes itself, and the dead numbness is rushed from my hand and my arm. After 30 seconds, I'm as good as new. Please be more careful with this, Creighton says. It's far more vital than you know. I look to where he's pointing. My chest! There's an explosion nearby. The tower sways, and dust and rocks drop from the ceiling and walls. More rocks fall as another blast takes me off my feet. I use my telekinesis to stop their descent, and I fling them out the window. Stop it. They're searching for us, and it's not going to take long until they realize where we are, he says. He looks at Ella, then at me. She's one of you, a member of the guard from Lorien. She's not old enough, I say, shaking my head, unable to replace the younger version I've come to know with this older one. I don't get it. Do you know what an Aternus is? I shake my head. Show her, Ella. While standing in front of me, Ella begins to change. Her arms shorten, her shoulders narrow. She loses 20 centimeters of height. Her weight drops significantly. The shrinking of her face shocks me the most, and quickly she looks like a tiny girl I've come to love. She's an Aternus, Creighton says. She's able to move back and forth between different ages. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't think that was possible, I shudder. Ella's 11 years old, he says. She came with me on a second ship from Lorien that left after yours. She was just a baby, only hours old. Loridus, the last remaining elder, sacrificed himself so that Ella could assume his role and grow into his powers. As I'm looking at Creighton, Ella slips her hand into mine as she's done so many times before. But it feels different now. I glance over and I see that she's returned to the older, taller version of herself. Recognizing my discomfort, Ella shrinks back down, the 4 years quickly melting away until she's 7 again. She's the 10th child, he says, the 10th elder. We created a rumor about her backstory, her parents dying in a car accident. We sent her here to live with you, to watch over you, and to be the eyes I needed. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you the truth, Marina, she says in her soft voice, but I'm the best secret keeper in the whole world, just like you say. I know you are, I say. I was waiting for Adelena to give you your chest, she says, smiling. Do you know who the 10th elder was, Creighton asks. Changing his age is how Loridius was able to live so long as he did, even after the other elders had passed away. Each time he grew old, he made himself young again, and assumed the vitality that comes with it. Are you Ella's C-Pan? Only in the surrogate sense of the word. Since she was born, she hadn't been assigned a C-Pan yet. I thought you were a Magadorian, I say. I know, but only because you misinterpreted the clues. The morning when I was talking to Hector, I was trying to show you I was a friend. But why didn't you just come and get me when you arrived? Why send Ella in? I tried approaching Adelina first, but she cast me out the second she knew who I was, and we needed you to have your chest. I couldn't pull you away without it, he says. So I sent Ella in. She started looking before even you had asked her to. The Magadorians have known your general location for a good while now, and I've done my best to keep them off your trail, killing some while killing most, but also planting stories in villages hundreds of miles away about kids doing amazing things, like a boy who lifted a car above his head and a girl who could walk across a lake. It was working until they discovered you were in Santa Teresa, but even then, they still didn't know which one you were. Then Ella found the chest and you opened it, and that's when I came here to talk to you in private. When you opened the chest, it led the Magadorians right here. Because I opened the chest? Yes, go ahead, open it now. I let go of Ella's hand and I grab hold of the lock. I'm sick thinking that I'm able to open it on my own now that Adelina is dead. I remove the lock and I toss the lid open. The small crystal is still glowing a faint blue. Don't touch that, he says. The fact that it's glowing means a macrocosm is in orbit somewhere. If you touch it now, it will let them know exactly where you are. I don't know whose macrocosm is operational, but I'm pretty sure the Magadorians have stolen somebody's, he finishes. I haven't the slightest idea what he's talking about, though. Macrocosm, I ask? He shakes his head, frustrated. There isn't time to explain it all, he says. Relock it. He opens his mouth to say more, but it's interrupted by a banging on the door at the bottom of the stairs. We can hear muffled bursts of foreign voices. We have to go, Creighton says, rushing to the back of the room and grabbing a large black suitcase. He flings it open, revealing 10 different guns, a handful of grenades, several daggers. He shrugs his coat to the floor and reveals a leather vest. He rushes to strap every piece of weaponry to it before slipping his coat back on. The Magadorians ram the door below with a heavy object, and we hear footsteps enter the stairwell. Creighton removes one of the guns and snaps a clip into it. The burning symbol on the mountain, I say. Was it you? He nods. I waited too long, I'm afraid. And when you opened the chest, it became impossible to slip away under their gaze. So I created the biggest beacon I could. And now we have to hope that the others have seen it. And then they're on their way. Otherwise, he trails off. Well, otherwise we're out of options. We'll have to get to the lake now. It's the only chance. Excuse me. I have no idea what lake he's talking about or why he wants to go there, but my body is trembling. I just want to get away. The footsteps are closer. Ella has a hold of my hand. Back to her 11-year-old self. Creighton pulls the slide on the gun, and I hear the bullet clicking into place. He rams it at the belfry's entryway. He aims it, rams it. You have a very good friend in town, he says. Hector? I ask, suddenly understanding why the two of them were talking in the cafe. Creighton wasn't spreading lies, but rather telling the truth. Yes, and let's hope he keeps his word. Hector will, I say, certain that's true regardless of what Creighton has asked him. It's in his name, I ask. Grab the chest, Creighton says. I reach down and I take the chest in my left arm just as we hear the footsteps reach the last curves of the stairwell. Both of you stay close to me, Creighton says, his eyes moving from Ella to me. She was born able to change ages, but she's young and hasn't developed any legacies. Keep her close, and don't let go of that chest. Don't worry, Marina, I'm fast, she smiles. You two ready? Ready, Ella says, tightening her hand around mine. They're all going to be wearing body armor that would stop almost every bullet here on Earth, Creighton says. But I've soaked mine with Loricide, and there isn't a shield here that could stop them. I'm going to mow down every damn one of them. His eyes narrow. Keep your fingers crossed that Hector's outside the gates waiting for us. He'll be there, I say. Then Creighton pulls the trigger, and he doesn't let go until every bullet's been fired. We keep the windows down, sagging or saying little, unnerved by the task ahead. Sam keeps a firm grip on the wheel as the highway winds Oh, excuse me, through Virginia. You think 6 will make it? Sam asks. I'm sure she will make it, but who knows what she'll find. What the hell of a. Oh, that was a hell of a kiss the two of you had. I open my mouth and then I shut it. A minute later, I say, she likes you too, you know. Yeah, as a friend. Actually, Sam, she likes you. Sam blushes. Sure, I could tell by the way she shoved her tongue in your mouth. She kissed you too, dude. I saw it. I slap him in the chest with the back of my hand, and I can see he's replaying the kiss in his mind. After I kissed her, I asked her if she knew you liked her, and we are jerked over the double line. We are jerked over the double line of the road. You did what? Dude, relax. Don't kill us. Sam glides up back onto our side of the road. She said she liked you too. God, Sam, why would I lie to you about this? Oh, I'm sorry. A devilish grin spreads across Sam's face. Interestingly, it is kind of hard to believe, Sam finally says. God, Sam, why would I lie about it? No, I can't believe that is the whole thing is real. That you're real, or that 6 is real, or that a hostile race of aliens has scattered themselves across the planet and nobody seems to know it. I mean, they've hollowed out a whole mountain in the middle of the state. How is it not to be found? What did they do with all of the dirt and rocks they removed? Even as scarcely populated as parts of West Virginia are, surely somebody had to stumble across it at some point. Hikers, hunters, pilots of small planes. What about satellite imaging? And who knows about how many other base camps or outposts or whatever you want to call them that they have on Earth. I just don't understand how they move about so freely. I agree, I say. I don't know either, but something tells me we probably don't know the half of it. You remember the first conspiracy theory you told me? No, Sam says. We were talking about an entire Montana town being abducted, and you said that the government allowed abductions in exchange for technology. Remember now? Vaguely, sure. Well, that makes sense now. Maybe technology has nothing to do with it. Maybe the government isn't allowing abductions, but I really think some agreement has to be in place because you're right. There's no way they're traveling unnoticed. They are way, 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 way too many of them. Sam doesn't respond. I look over and I see that he's smiling. Sam, I ask. I was just thinking of where I might be at this exact moment if you guys hadn't come along. Probably alone in my basement, collecting more conspiracy theories and wondering if my dad's still alive. That's how it was for years. But what's awesome is that I really do believe he's alive now. He's somewhere, John. I know it, and I know it because of you guys. I hope so, I say. It's pretty cool that Henry came to Ohio to try to find him, and you and I became friends almost immediately. It's like fate. Sam smiles. Or a cosmic aligning. Nerd, I say. After a pause, Sam asks, Hey, John, you're positive that skeleton in the well wasn't my dad, right? Absolutely, dude. He was loric and huge, bigger than any human. What's your best guess, then? Who was it? I really don't know. I just hope he wasn't too important. Hi, Stella. 4 hours pass, and finally we see a sign pointing to Ansted, 6 miles ahead. We fall silent. Sam makes the turn and navigates a precarious 2-lane road that twists up the mountain until we pass the town's border. We drive through it. We turn left at the only stoplight in town. Hawk's Nest, right? Yep, a mile or two down the road, Sam says. And it's where we still find the map that 6 drew 3 years ago. Oh, that's right. She told him where this stuff was. The map is exactly where 6 said it would be. Hey! The cat is attacking me more. The map is exactly where 6 said it would be, hidden in the Hawk's Nest State Park, overlooking the New River, exactly 47 steps down the Gisp Trail. Sam, Bernie Kosar, and I reach a tree with E6 deeply carved into it. From there, we leave the trail, taking 30 steps past the tree to the right. That's followed by a hard left, and then, a tenth of a mile away, we see a tree that towers over the others. In a small gap at the base of its twisted trunk, safely tucked away, is a black plastic box. Oh, excuse me. The map inside it is the map that leads to the cave. We make our way back to the SUV and we drive another 15 miles, ultimately pulling down a muddy, deserted road. It's the closest any road can get us, 5 miles due north of the cave. Sam takes the address 6 row out of his pocket and puts it in the glove compartment. On second thought, he removes it and he puts it in his back pocket. As safe as anywhere, he says. I drop the Zatharis and some duct tape into Six's backpack that she left behind. Sam slips the bag over his shoulders. I flip my dagger over in my hand and then I stuff it into my back pocket. Oh, that's right. They charged it up with the invisibility. The stone. The Zatharis stone. We step out and I lock the doors. Bernie Kosar running circles around my legs. There's only a few hours left of daylight, which doesn't leave us much time. Even with the benefit of my hands, I can't imagine finding the cave without sun to help us along. Sam holds, and I don't know if you guys hear the fireworks outside. It's become like fireworks city around here. Sam holds the map in his hands as at the right side, Six has drawn a heavy X. A winding path 5 miles long connects the X where we are now, marked on the map's left side. Along the way, we skirt a riverbed while passing various landmarks noted for their physical descriptions, all of which are carefully marked to keep us on track. Turtle Rock, Fisherman's Pole, Circle Plateau, King's Thorn, Lover's Kiss, Lookout Point. Sam and I lift our heads at the same time, and we both see a rock a quarter mile away, an uncanny resemblance to a turtle shell. Bernie Kosar barks. I guess we know which direction to head first, Sam says. As we go off, following the path set by the map, there's no trail, nothing that might allude to these mountains having been trampled by beings of another world, or even by beings of this one. Once we reach Turtle Rock, Sam spots a fallen tree that hangs over the cliff at a 45-degree angle. This looks like a fishing pole patiently waiting for a bite. We hike on, following the trail as the sun lowers in the western sky. Each step taken is another chance to turn around and walk away, but neither of us does. You're a hell of a friend, Sam Goody, I tell him. Come here, Stone. You're not so bad yourself, he replies. Then I can't. You're not so bad yourself, he replies. And then I can't stop my hands from shaking. After passing King's Throne, which is a tall, slender rock that looks like a high-back chair, I immediately spot 2 fallen trees leaning against one another at slight angles, their branches appearing like arms wrapped around each other in embrace. And I smile for a brief moment, forgetting how terribly scared I am. Only one more to go, Sam says, pulling me back into the clutches of reality. We reach Lookout Point 5 minutes later. All told, the hike had taken us an hour and 10 minutes. The shadows are long and stretched as the last light of dusk drains away. Without warning, a deep growl bellows beside me. I look down and Bernie Kosar's teeth are flashed. His fur bristling along the spine, his eyes pointed in the direction of the cave. He begins backing away from it. It's okay, Bernie Kosar, I say, patting his back. Sam and I drop to the ground and we lay on our stomachs, both staring across the valley at the cave's almost indiscernible entrance. It's far larger than I'd imagined, probably 20 feet wide and tall, but also much better hidden. There's something cover it, a net or a tarp maybe, making it blend in with its surroundings. You'd have to know it was there to be able to see it. Perfect location, Sam whispers. Totally, I say. My nervousness quickly turns to full-blown terror. As mysterious as the cave is, one thing I know for sure is that there'll be no shortage of things, weapons, beasts, or traps that could kill us. I could die within the next 20 minutes, and Sam could too. Whose idea was this anyway, I ask? Sam snorts. Yours? Well, I have some stupid ideas sometimes. True, but we have to get your chest somehow. There's so much in there that I don't even know how to use yet. But maybe they do, I ask. Then something catches my eye. Dun dun dun. Look at the ground in front of the entrance, I say, pointing to a smattering of dark objects at the cave's entrance. At the rocks? Those aren't rocks. Those are dead animals, I say. Sam shakes his head. Great, he says. I shouldn't be surprised since Six told us about it, but the sight of them fills me with even more dread, which I didn't think possible. My mind races. All right, I say, sitting up. There's no time like present. I kiss the top of Bernie Kosar's head. Then I run my hand down the length of his back, hoping this won't be the last time I ever see him. He tells me not to go, and I communicate back that I have no other choice. You're the best, BK. I love you, buddy. Then I stand. I take the bottom of my shirt in my right hand so I can remove the Zathara stone from the bag without touching it. Sam messes with the buttons on his digital watch, putting it in stopwatch mode. We won't be able to read its face once we're invisible, but when the hour is up, the watch will beep, though I imagine by then we'll have figured it out. Ready, I ask? Together, we take our first step, then a second, then we're hiking down the trail that may very well lead us into our imminent doom. I turn around only once, when I've nearly reached the cave, to see Bernie Kosar staring at us. How we doing? Holy moly, look at that. Nice carve marks, Stella. With a little bit of blood. Cheapers creepers. Let me get. Yeah. Oh, geez. Got a tissue here. Boy. She's always carving me up. Man, what a little cut. All right, how we doing on time? 9:30. I think we got enough time. Let's see. I think we were talking last time. I don't know if we'll finish another chapter, but no way. But we can start it. No problem at all. We get as close to the cave as we can without being seen, and I duck behind a tree. I place the Zathara stone on the sticky side of a section of duct tape. Sam watches his fingers pinched around a stopwatch. Ready, I ask? He nods. I press the Zatharis and the tape to the very bottom of my sternum. I vanish instantly, and Sam hits the watch button, eliciting a soft digital beep. I snatch Sam's hand, and together we lurch around the tree. We speed to the cave. It's all about the task at hand now, and with that in mind, I'm no longer as nervous. The cave is covered with a large camouflage tarp. We navigate through the graveyard of dead animals, being careful not to step on any, which is hard to do without the luxury of seeing your feet. There are no mogs outside, and I hurry myself forward, and I flick the tarp aside I flick the tarp aside a little too forcefully. Sam and I stumble in, and 4 guards jump up from their seats and raise cylindrical cannons like one that was held to my forehead that night in Florida. We stand as still as statues for a brief moment. Then we quietly sneak past, hoping they attribute the tarp's sudden disturbance to an outside wind. There's a cool breeze coming from a ventilation system, and the air is oddly fresh, which I hadn't expected considering it's laced with poisonous gas. The gray walls are polished smooth like flint. Electrical conduit connects dim lights, evenly spaced 20 feet apart. We pass several more scouts and slither by undetected. The anxiety of the ticking clock racks us both with stress. We jog, we sprint, we tiptoe, we walk. And when the tunnel narrows and declines steadily, we sidestep down it. The cool air grows hot and stifling, and a crimson glow at the end of the tunnel comes into view. We shuffle towards it until finally reaching the cave's beating heart. The cavernous hall is far larger than I'd imagined based on Six's description. A long, continuous ledge runs along the circular walls and spirals all the way from top to bottom, giving the overall appearance of a beehive. The place is every bit as busy as 1-2. There are literally hundreds of mogs in sight, crossing the precarious stone arch bridges, entering and exiting tunnels. The deep floor and vast ceilings are separated by a half mile. Sam and I are situated very close to the middle. 2 massive pillars sprout up from the floor and reach all the way to the ceiling, keeping the whole thing from caving in. The number of passageways around us are endless. My God, Sam whispers in awe, taking it all in. It'd take months to explore this entire thing. My eyes are drawn to the lake of glowing green liquid down below. Even from far away, the heat of it makes it hard to breathe. But despite the near roasting temperatures, 20 or 30 mogs work around it, retrieving carts full of the bubbling stuff, and quickly take it away. Past the green lake, my eyes focus on something else. I think we can pretty much guess what we'll find down that tunnel with the giant bars, I whisper. It's 3 times the height and the width of the passageway that carried us here. And a checkered pattern of heavy iron bars cover it, keeping caged whatever beasts are inside. We can hear them howl from below and deep, it's deep and almost sorrowful. One thing is immediately clear. Their numbers are far from few. It'll literally take months, Sam says again in a disbelieving whisper. Well, we have less than an hour, I whisper back, so we better hurry. I think we can put a big X through all those dark, narrow tunnels that look obstructed. I agree. We should start with the one directly across from us, I say, looking at what appears to be a central control room's main artery, wider and better lit than the others, and one with the greatest number of mogs coming in and out. The bridge over it is just a long arch of solid rock that is almost 2 feet wide. Think you can make it across the archway? We're about to find out, Sam replies. Lead or follow, I ask. Let me lead. Sam takes the first few steps uncertainly. Since we have to keep our hands locked for the first 40 feet or so, we shuffle along sideways. It takes forever, and if we're going to get to the other side and back again, there's no way we can do this at this pace. Just don't look down, I say to Sam. Don't be cliche, he responds, squaring his body. We've moved ahead slowly, and I wish I could see my feet just for this obstacle. I'm so focused on not falling that I don't feel Sam stop ahead of me, which causes me to stumble into him, nearly knocking us both off the bridge. What are you doing, I ask, my heart thudding in my chest. I look up and I see why he stopped. Racing towards us is a Magadorian soldier. He comes charging across in a jog, and he's already so close there's hardly time to react. There's nowhere to go, Sam says. The soldier continues forward, cradling a wrapped bundle in his arms. And when he's close enough, I feel Sam crouch. A second later, the mog's feet are swept out from under him, completely catching the soldier off guard. He falls over the side of the bridge and he catches himself with one hand as the bundle he was carrying drops away. The mog cries out in pain, and as my invisible foot crushes his fingers, he lets go and he drops through the air, splattering far below in a sticky thud. Sam races us forward before any further calamities arise. Every single mog in the area has stopped in mid-stride, staring at one another with confused expression. I wonder if they believed what just happened was an accident, or if they're now on high alert. Sam squeezes my hand in relief when we've made it across, and he lurches ahead, having gained a world of confidence from killing a soldier. The next corridor is wide and busy, and it doesn't take long for Sam and me to realize we're heading in the wrong direction. The rooms we've passed are exclusively private. The entire wing seems to be where the mogs live. Caves with beds, a large open cafeteria with hundreds of tables, a shooting range. We rush down a nearby corridor, but the result is the same. Then we try a third. We follow the winding tunnel deeper into the mountain. Several tributaries lead away from the main drag. Sam and I randomly turned down them based on nothing more than a gut feeling. Aside from the main hall we entered, the rest of the mountain is nothing more than an interconnected network of damp stone corridors, off of which various rooms house research centers with examination tables, computers, shiny, sharp instruments. We pass several scientific laboratories that we both wish we had the time to investigate further as we rush by. We've probably run a mile, maybe two, and with each new corridor that turns up, nothing. Stress floods my veins. We can't have more than 15 minutes left, John. I'm aware of that, I whisper, desperate and irritated and quickly losing hope. When we take the next turn and we rush up the steady incline, we pass the thing I feared the most, a room full of prison cells. Sam stops in mid-stride and he keeps a firm grip on my hand, causing me to stop as well. 20 or 30 Magadorians guard more than 40 cells, all lined up in a row, with heavy steel doors in front of each other. There's a bubbling blue force field pulsing with electricity. Where are we time-wise? Yeah. All right. This is a good point. Let's call it there. All right. Good reading. So, my friends, I hope all is well. Things are good. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys today, well, there are some interesting this day in history, but one of the things was that, here's I don't know if they're cool. So on this day in 1946, something was introduced into fashion. 1946. So on this day, the bikini became available for purchase. Well, there you go. On this day in 1865, oh my goodness, excuse me, the Salvation Army was founded. On this day in 1975, Arthur Ashe, if you don't know who Arthur Ashe, he was the first, I guess you could say, superstar in the world of tennis, the sport of men's tennis. And he becomes the first black man to win Wimbledon on this day in 1975. And the last thing that I thought was interesting, on this day in 2003, SARS, the World Health Organization, declared SARS to be contained. So, we're still battling this COVID thing as a country. As a state, we're still socially distancing. We're still wearing masks. Excuse me. Restaurants have opened up. I don't think malls have opened up, but other places have, started to open up. And, so things are interesting. But over in, or in a lot of states across the country, and I still think it's over 20 states, COVID numbers are out of control, right? I think Oklahoma was added onto the list, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, California. Numbers are going crazy. And somebody told me, and I didn't look this up, but I got to double check. Might have mentioned it the other night, but somebody told me that California has already closed its schools for the fall. So California is saying we're going to do distance learning in the fall. So, it's just wacky. That's all I have to say. Things are just wacky, and who knows what's going to come of it. But fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed that we're going to be back in school in some way in September. But, I think a lot of states, people just didn't, when all this happened, here's what you could do. And here's what we did. I think there's multiple things you can do. But here's what people chose to do. States around the country did one of two things. They either acted proactively, like New York, or they said, if it gets to us, we will act reactively. So we were proactive. We said, listen, here's what the experts tell us. Here's what the science tells us. Because of this, we're going to do this. So people have criticized Governor Cuomo, and they said, oh, Governor Cuomo, you said all these people were going to die. And he said, yeah, that's what the projections told us. Guess what? That many people didn't die, so that means we did the right thing. It's all, I guess it really just comes down to is, do you believe the projections? What I know is that Texas and other states are saying, we're running out of hospital beds. We're having all of these problems that New York was having, and we need help. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say. I feel better about what we did, and I think we did the right thing. But the question just is when do we really just turn that spigot on and open it all up? So I don't know. But anyway, well, the book's getting good. Summer, things are heating up. This week, it's supposed to be in the 90s all week. Ouch, right? It is going to be hot. So stay cool and be good. And I will see you guys. Today is Sunday. I'll see you guys on Tuesday night. Be good, guys. Keep running the marathon.